Hey everyone, welcome to our weekly Ants Team Live training. Sorry I'm a little late. Things are different around here, so I had to make a couple of adjustments before I can get on. But welcome to our chat. This is where we get together every week for our Ants Team Live training. Some of you have asked what ANT stands for. If you've missed it, ANT is for Action, New Beginnings, Tenacity, and Success. So that's what we stand for as a group. And now that group has been opened up to the world. So we appreciate you joining us. Thank you for joining us here weekly. We meet here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. and we get connected. We just share ideas and we talk, and we usually have a topic of discussion that we go through. So this week's topic of discussion is actually going to be point and shoot, last minute change, but you'll see what I mean a little bit later. But as you know, what we do here in our chat is we always start off every week and every session with our wins for the week. So go ahead and in the chat box below, get started with your wins for the week, things that you're celebrating, the things that you're excited about, the things that you've accomplished, the anything that you just want to share with the group. I should be starting off with mine. Hello, Miss Kathleen. Welcome. So my win for the week, I actually have two. It's between last week and this week. I was actually featured in two bustle.com articles. I posted them on my page. One was to give tips for how you can get out of your student loan debt, and then the other article was a list of 17 women who have gotten out of student loan debt, and I was featured as number 8. So it was super exciting, super amazing, and I just kind of couldn't believe it because I definitely recommend you should check out the articles, but it was just kind of cool to be a part of that on, bustle.com. So shout out to Bustle. Thank you guys. And I will be sharing the links in the, probably in this post and on the YouTube post as well. For those of you who are not able to join us on Facebook, whether it be because your time is doesn't relate with us, whether you can't sync up with us time-wise at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night, or if you're not a Facebook user, then you can always join us on my YouTube channel, Georgiana H. I do post all of our videos so that you can always catch up later on. So I will be sharing the link to the article. So that was my win for the week. I was so excited. I just kind of can't believe it. I'm just really thankful to be a part of something like that. And I hope that other people are inspired by it, because I was... I read the article and I was like, wow, there are a lot of good ideas here from the other people. And I love to hear that millennials and other women are getting out of debt. I believe that being debt free and setting it as a goal to be without debt is actually really important. And I think that there aren't enough of us that are, sorry, fixing. I think that there aren't enough of us that are debt free. There's too large a percentage of the population that has debt, and I think that we should really make the effort to get out of that, because you don't want to be a slave to someone else. I know it can be hard because we do want to spend, we do like the bling, and we do like to shop and stuff, but doesn't mean that you have to give up the things that you enjoy. And I have to say, for me personally, having paid off my student loans and cleared out that debt, I've been super happy. It's just nice to not owe people stuff. It kind of takes a weight off your shoulders. And just this past week I was talking to my mom about it, something that I just hadn't thought about in a long time, because when I was thinking about this article and the questions that the author was writing for, I was kind of reminiscing on freshman year. And then earlier last week, when we were doing our Avon Boss Life Tour, the leadership training, one of the questions that our instructor, Craig, told us to think about was, think about a time. And I kind of went back to that time, freshman year in college, in the bursar's office, having to figure out, something just exploded. So if the lights go out and the power goes, but just being in the bursar's office and thinking about how we were gonna pay for my student loans and my tuition. Well, at that time it wasn't student loans; it was just tuition. But books and stuff. And I remember the feeling, and just sitting there and having that feeling kind of flood over me was so overwhelming. So to be able to look back at that and kind of think about how I feel now, I'm just so grateful that I was able to accomplish that, and I have my Avon business to thank for that. So you know, when we're here talking about the Avon business and what it's done for us, don't feel like you just because you're just starting you'll never get there. The little things matter too, because at the time we had small payments to make, you know, a couple of $100s every once in a while, I think every quarter or every month. And I remember every time it came around for those payments, I was just so nervous and anxious, on top of, you know, midterms and finals. It was just something that I didn't, you know, you didn't want to have to deal with while you were in school, but it was just a fact of life. So being able to look back at it now and kind of feel lighthearted about it, you know, it feels good, but I know that there are a lot of people who are still in that situation. So I just want to say, don't give up hope. Check out those articles. The other women who shared their tips, and men and women who shared their tips, were really great at sharing. They had some good ideas, some things I didn't think about. Some of them were I actually found were doing stuff that I was doing to get out of debt. And then, of course, as an Avon rep, having that extra side income, you know, don't knock that extra $100, extra $200, extra $500, whatever it is coming in, because that adds up over time. We talk about it on these chats all the time, that, you know, every dollar counts, because, you know, even if you're earning like an extra $200, that is an extra $200 that you don't have to take out of your paycheck. Even if you're earning an extra $50, that's $50 that you don't have to take out of your paycheck. That can go towards lunch or gas or whatever. So to be able to have that extra stream of income coming in really makes a difference. And then as you start to grow your business and that extra stream of income starts to not just replace the small things, but replace the bigger things, or be enough so that you could set aside for your future, for your retirement, for your, you know, different investments, so that it can start to have compound interest. It really starts to make a difference in your life. So don't give up now. If you're just starting out and you're feeling like you're not seeing the funds, that you're not seeing the income, just don't give up on it. Keep at it, keep knocking away at it, keep going, because it does add up over time. So let's see. I see 8 comments and I just can't read them all for some reason. Oh, there they go. Okay. New system, I told you guys. So, hey Kathleen, hello Miss Milagros. Oh, okay, I see some wins for the week. So Miss Milagros is saying that she's 83% of the way towards earning her trip for 2. Woohoo! I am not there yet. I'm getting there. I'm coming. I need to be in the Bahamas with you guys. Miss Renee is saying hello. Shout out to Miss Renee. How are you? Hi Miss Myra. How are you doing? So yeah, come on guys, let's get going with those wins for the week. I know you guys have some awesome stuff to share. I've been watching your Facebook pages. I know you guys have been busting your butts and working towards this Bahamas trip, working towards your ticket to Boss Life, earning your scratch offs. I should have some coming here this week, so I might be coming back for another video later on. I know some of my team, we had some of our representatives, we do this thing on our team. I believe I got the idea from Lisa Wilbur, or it might be Teresa Paul, I can't remember. But we got this idea, no, Lisa Wilbur, for the Fab 400. So for my team, the representatives who have sales of over $400, they get a bundle of some goodies, and I've been sending them out. So I might be more excited than they are, but I know some of you guys have been earning the Fab 400. I know some of you are hitting your Kickstart bonuses. So don't feel like your goals aren't big enough to share on here. Every single goal counts. So if you found a new customer, if you had a successful event, if you got some more online orders, whatever it is, share it here in the chat box and let's celebrate with you, because that's what we do here as a group. So let's see what we have here. I don't know. This is the first time I am streaming from my PC, and it's different. But so we have some really great stuff. I don't know if you guys have been seeing the new catalogs, but we're finally in campaign 10. I couldn't wait, and I don't even have the catalog here with me because I've been shopping from it. But campaign 10 is here. Our campaign 9 orders went in last week for me. Let's see. Oh, here it is. And look. All right. So now we are in campaign 9. I am so flipping excited about the new Mark line. This new revised look for the Mark products is amazing. I think it's so cute, so on trend, and the looks that you get are really like edgy. So I am so excited about it. I have not ordered my lipsticks yet, but their new colors are so bold and vibrant. And they brought back the snap-in palettes. Years ago when Mark first started, this was a staple of the Mark line, the fact that you could pop out the little eyeshadows and pop them into a palette. And I will tell you, not for nothing, but I have kept a lot of those colors. I popped them out, and over the years, these are some of the original colors down here. I kept them. I've popped them in a Z palette, and I've kept them in a little acrylic drawer all these years. So I've had a lot of those colors. The other round ones you guys can see here, these are old Avon. These are the old Avon makeup quads. You guys remember these makeup quads when they were still circular? I know you're supposed to replace your makeup every once in a while, but I can't get rid of the colors. But it took too much effort to depot all these colors. These are all of the old Avon eyeshadows I still have in my little acrylic drawers. But I hated having to depot everything. So I actually love these Mark eyeshadows because I think it's all of the Mark little powder colors, the eyeshadows and the blushes. Yeah, so you can get the eyeshadows and you can get the blush for the palette. So I love these because you can just, they're already depotted. So I don't know, have you guys ever had to depot all of your makeup? It was not fun. So it took hours. So I love the fact that they already come out of their little pots. And I'm dying to try these lipstick colors. Look at that. Isn't that bold and amazing? Can we just, yeah, no? I'm dying. These new lipstick shades are so vibrant and edgy and different. I am in love. So I can't wait to try them. My customers are excited because they're like, oh, what is this Mark stuff? And all of the Mark stuff is in the first couple of pages of the Campaign 10 catalog. So be sure to order enough of these to get out to your customers. Let them see all the different colors. Get a couple for yourself. Try it out. Take pictures and post on social media. Share with your customers. Share, because sharing is caring, and that's what we do here for a living. The other thing I'm excited about, you guys can't see it because it's back there, but I have a pile of jewelry to go through. These new Signature Collection jewelry pieces are gorgeous. I can't wait for Mother's Day because I know they make just amazing gifts. So definitely get the jewelry in the hands of your customers. And now, as representatives, the jewelry price earnings, I should say, the jewelry earnings are the same all across the board. So the watches give you the same earnings percentage as everything else. They no longer have the little star thing at the side. So watches are a great piece. I think I actually am ordering this one. But show your watches because people like different watches. A lot of people, like me, change their watches to match their outfits. So get the watches in the hands of your customers. Now you can really market that. Father's Day coming up. We've got some men's jewelry. We're having more men's jewelry in the catalog. So be sure to reach out to male customers and let them know. A lot of times we meet the guys and they say things like, oh, Avon's for women. I don't wear makeup and lipstick, da da da. But there's a lot of great stuff in here aside from the cologne and all the skincare that the men can use anyway. But the jewelry is usually an eye catcher for them because they like that stuff. So be sure to share with your male customers. And they have a sale. So keep that in mind. I was looking for this dress. It's on the cover of Campaign 8. I wore it for Easter. I think everybody wore that same dress to Easter all across America. All the Avon ladies rolled out in that dress, but it's not in here. It's not, is it? No, I don't think it's in this catalog. But did you guys love that dress or what? I loved it. I wore it for Easter myself too. And I didn't take pictures. I just did not feel well enough. But I will be taking more pictures and posting on the blog later on. So, all right, let's see how we're doing with these wins for the week. So, we have Miss Renee. She said that she joined a new auction group and she gained new customers. Yay, new customers. Awesome. And let's see what else we have. Okay. Cool. So let's get going with those wins, guys. I know you guys are doing more stuff. I know we're all caught up in, hitting these incentives, but don't forget to stop and celebrate your wins. Those are just as important because you don't want to keep going and get burned out. So find little things to celebrate every day. The fact that you got out and you talked to new customers, the fact that you emptied out all 5 of the brochures that you had in your bag to share the power of 5, or the 3 brochures you had in your bag for the power of 3. Whatever it is, stop and celebrate every time you achieve something so that it'll keep you motivated and keep you pumped. I also recommend finding accountability partners so that they can celebrate with you and encourage you. So, that's kind of what we do here as a group, because I know not everyone has an upline, not everyone is in touch with their upline or their team. So this is a great way for us to reconnect every week to just revamp our energy, refresh, and, get going again. So also be sure to get on these live calls, because watching it by yourself is just not the same. All right, so today our topic of discussion is actually going to be point and shoot. So let me rewind a little bit and give you some backstory. I've been looking at cameras and doing some research in photography, and as I was doing some reading today, I was coming across different people who were just beginning to get into photography, beginner photographers, and they were sharing some of their struggles and some of the things that they were finding when they first started to venture out. And I always tell you guys, I love to look at other businesses and other professions and compare it to us, because I feel like sometimes we live in our own little direct sales MLM bubble, and we feel like the struggles that we have, the things that we are going through are unique to us. And we think that they're unique to our company or, our team or whatever it is. But as I was going through and I was reading these comments by these other newbie photographers and the responses by professional photographers that were trying to encourage them, I realized that it's just like us with our business in quite a few different ways. So I came up with a list of 5 takeaways. You guys know I'm like a list maker. So if you're a note taker, get the pens and paper out. If you're not, get them out. But I came up with a list of 5 ways to help you compose your point of view. Because in business, our lives, as a matter of fact, our lives and our businesses are very much like the photography profession in these ways. So first of all, I have my camera here. So not an accident, not on purpose, but because I was looking for cameras. So when you have the camera, you have this part here with it, which is the lens. Some cameras, the old school cameras, have the viewfinder at the back, but most of them now have like this LCD panel, so you can compose your photo. So you can kind of see, there we go. You could kind of see what's in your picture beforehand, and you could kind of tilt and move to crop out what you want. So keep that in mind, because that's where we're kind of going with it. So this LCD window on your camera is kind of like your belief window. So you hear us talk about these calls. During our calls, you always hear us talk about belief windows. Your belief window is your window of belief. And a lot of us, we have a very narrow belief window. It's like this. We don't believe that we can accomplish stuff. We don't believe that stuff is for us. We believe that that's for someone else, that that's for a specific circumstance, a specific point in a person's life, that they have that because, their husband is great. They have that because their kids help out. They have that because, luck. I love when they're like, oh yeah, she's lucky. No, she works hard. But some of us have a really small belief window. So what we want to do is expand our belief window. So like with the camera, you could zoom all the way in and have a very small, tiny, narrow belief window, or you could zoom out and have a bigger field of view. So I want us all to have really large, like out of the frame, so you can't see my hands, like out of the frame belief windows, where the sky's the limit. You're reaching for the moon, you're falling among the stars. You're not putting limits on yourself. So expand your belief window outside of, your 4 corners. You want to have it as big as possible. Zoom all the way out and get, a big picture view of everything. But your belief window is what we're going to be working on today. So with your camera lens, when you're a photographer, they don't just snap pictures of stuff. They try to tell a story. They're trying to convey something. So if they're at, like, if it's a wedding photographer, he's trying to show the joy of, the moment and the family and the relationships. If you're a nature photographer, you're trying to capture those really cool moments in nature, the frost melting on the trees, the sunshine glistening on, I don't know, liquid. Not a photographer, but you guys see where I'm going with this. But you do that by changing your view. So if you want to zoom in on a flower, then you'll use this viewfinder to focus in on what you're trying to show. So with us, our life and our business, the story we're trying to tell is sort of like our legacy. It's what we want other people to think of when they think of us. It's the impact that we want to have on the other people around us, on our children, on our families, on our neighborhoods, on our communities. So each of us, when we live our life, we're living a story that is going to impact other people, whether we like to or not. It's just going to. So we have to be conscious of what our legacy is going to be. Many of us, when we join this business, a lot of us join for money, but we always talk about going deeper than that and establishing your why, because it's important. It affects everything else that comes after. It affects your actions. It affects how well you do in this business. It affects your longevity and how long you last, your determination, your grit. All of that is affected by your why. So when you have a strong story, when your story is, really strong and motivating, it gets you through the tough times. So you kind of want to, whether you're a representative who's been here for a while or you're just getting started, you always want to keep your story and your point of view, your story in your legacy, that's what I'm looking for, in mind, because everything you do will either be a good thing towards your legacy or it will detract. So for example, if you want your legacy to be of, a person who's hardworking and motivated and energetic, then you can't lay at home all day and watch TV and eat potato chips on the couch and never go out and never do anything, because the legacy that you leave, the story that other people will speak of when they think of you, is going to be different from what you want. And I think a lot of us can fall into that, and I catch myself doing it all the time, where, I want my legacy to be one thing, but it's so easy to fall in line and, do things that don't line up with your legacy. So everything that you do, just like a photographer composing a storyline with his photos, a photographer will kind of line up his camera and, focus, change angles, change the point of view, sets up, what's happening in the scene, because he's trying to tell a specific story. A wedding photographer, for example, is not going to go out and take pictures of the animals at the zoo and compile them into your wedding shot, because that's not what he's trying to convey. He's not going to go out and take, gritty street scenes of murders and violence, because he's not doing, murders. He's doing a wedding. In the same way, a photographer who's maybe trying to show the grittiness of the city, he may not have, the bright, vibrant colors that a spring photographer might use. He might have more dark, edgy, more like nighttime scenes, party scenes, crime scenes, whatever it is. But his composition is going to look different from the springtime wedding photographer's composition. And their photos don't go very well into the same booklet. It's art, so I'm pretty sure there is a photographer out there who, might want to juxtapose the grittiness of the city with the beauty of a wedding, whatever. But most of the time, the photographers kind of have their story set, and they filter out their photos according to the story that they're trying to take. So even the wedding photographer, if he starts taking pictures and he gets a couple of icky pictures, he's not going to put that in the final photo album, because it doesn't fit with his storyline. So in the same way, we as business people have to filter out the things that don't fit in with our story. So we need to have a really strong why, and we need to let our why drive us in everything else that we're doing. So the first thing is your story, your legacy, and, trying to be conscious of what other people see and what you're leaving behind. The second thing we kind of touched on is your focus. So, with a camera, you can adjust the focus a little bit. You can zoom out and move around, move back and forward to adjust. I know a lot of times nowadays our cameras have that automatic focus, but you know, with the manual camera, sometimes you have to adjust it by zooming in, zooming out, adjusting the aperture or whatever, so that you can get a crisp, clean focus. Sometimes you want the foreground to be in focus and the background to be blurry. Sometimes you want the reverse. So same thing in business. What are you focused on? Are you focused on the negative or the positive? Are you focused on yourself or are you focused on others? Are you focused on success or failure? Or are you focused on your power or your helplessness? And all of those things are things within your belief window that will affect your your story. So sometimes we always talk about negativity and how that affects your actions. What you focus on manifests itself in your life. So if you're focused on how bad everything is going and how nothing is working out, you're going to find yourself in a spiral of everything going bad and everything not working out. So try to find the things that you want to focus on. So like the photographer taking the nature scene, he might be in a gigantic forest, but he might want to focus down on the chipmunk eating a nut. I don't know what the chipmunks eat. Eating pine cones or something. Or he might want to focus on the sparrow in a tree. It might be a rainy day and he wants to focus on a little bird family in their nest taking shelter under a tree. So in the same way, with our lives, we might have, you know, crappy stuff happening around us. The sky might be falling, it might be raining, it might be like a disaster. But if we could find those little moments of joy and things to celebrate, like in our live chats, like here when we do our recognition and things that we're celebrating, you want to focus on those positive things more and make all the negative stuff blurry, or use your field of view to just completely crop it out. And that's kind of the beauty of being a photographer. You can, you know, just crop out the things that you don't want to appear in your photo. So adjust your focus and focus on the positive. It could be, you know, yourself or your others. As team leaders, I always say, when you become a leader, it becomes less about you and more about your team. If you find yourself still focusing on you, you might run into problems with your team because they're people. They can read you. They know when you're being genuine and you want to help, and they know when you're being selfish and trying to throw everyone else under the bus. And I've had incidences with leaders on my team dealing with other people, with other representatives coming and telling me stuff. And a lot of times they get discouraged because they might be working with someone who messes them up in some way, shape, or form, because that person is trying to get ahead and they're putting their boot in the back of everyone else. But those people don't go far. I like to think of the image like a crab in the barrel. If you're climbing over everyone and they're climbing on you, everyone's just pulling each other down. Nobody's getting anywhere. But I like the image that Avon uses, and I always say that with leadership, of one person climbing the staircase and reaching down behind to help up someone else. And then when you have, I always say, you know, if you have a team of people, some people have different strengths than you, you all help each other and you all go a lot further together. So if you're focused on yourself, try to be conscious of that and try to shift your focus to helping others. Even as if you're not a leader and you're helping your customers, if you have your customers' benefits at heart and you're doing things to recognize and celebrate and show appreciation for your customer base, they will appreciate that and they'll be more than happy to pass on your name so that you can get referrals. They'll be more than happy to come back to you to continue shopping because they like working with you. If they know you're trying to nickel and dime them, if they know you're stealing from them, if they know that you're being dishonest, then they're not going to want to come back and work with you. And I actually had an instance last week. There was someone in another profession that I was working with, and she kind of did something that was a little dishonest, and it was a lot dishonest, but I was just like, that's how you roll? Oh, okay, well, I'm not gonna work with you anymore, because I was like, if she does that to me, you know, who's a friend, then what are you doing to the people you don't like? And I don't know what her work ethic is in other areas of her life, but I feel like from what I've seen, that person can't be trusted with money. That person can't be trusted with, you know, multitude of different things. And my reality of my not my reality, but my idea of her ideals has been tarnished now because of one thing that she did. she may not have been conscious of it. She may not have set out to do it with malice, but in seeing her do that, I was just like, no, that's not gonna work. So be conscious of the things that you do. Try to, again, just think of your story. What do you want other people to think of when they think of you and your story? What do you want your legacy to be? And that's one of the reasons we always try to talk about integrity. You want to have integrity in your business because, and do the things that's right even when other people aren't looking, because that becomes a part of your story and who you are. And if it's easy to do when people aren't looking, it's going to be, sorry, if it's easy to do when people are looking, it's going to be super easy to do when people aren't looking. So you want to, do the right thing, whether you're alone or in front of people. So, be conscious of your story and what you're focused on. The third thing is your composition. So let's say, for an example, with this video screen here, I kind of have it cropped in so you can't see anything that way and you can't see anything that way. Right now my makeup table is a mess, so it's out of the composition of our video. I realigned the video feed to crop out the things that I didn't want in there. So with composition in our business and in our lives, sometimes we have to crop out the things that are hurting us. You always hear me talking about negative influences. Sometimes it gets to the point where you just need to take a step back and get out of that, because negativity from others affects you. You might be in a situation where it's friends or family or co-workers where you just need to say, you know what? There's nothing I could do about this. There's nothing that I can do to change that situation. Griping and harping about it and rehashing it over and over again is not helping neither you or me. So, let's stop talking about it, or let's stop hanging out. And it's a reality that happens. And a lot of times in business, when we start to see ourselves be successful, just the other day I heard someone saying how the people in their neighborhood and family started to resent them for their success. And I was just like, so we're supposed to just stay where we are and not improve ourselves? What is that? We should be cheering each other on. But she had to remove herself from that situation because it was getting to the point where she didn't want to move forward because she was feeling this resentment from her family and she felt like she was doing something wrong. But there was nothing wrong with her success, and when she pulled out of that, she was able to make her millions. I can't remember the name of the woman I was reading about, but she had always just been sabotaging herself because she didn't want to be ridiculed and attacked by her family because they were, just making those little side nitpicky comments that people make. And she was feeling bad about her success, like as if she had done something wrong. But she needed to pull herself out of that. So sometimes in life, you need to just, crop that out. And with your photo, there's something in there that you don't like, just, crop it, cut it out. The other thing with your composition of your life is the angle. You want your story to be clear, right? You don't want a blurry story. So, and the things that we were talking about prior, your integrity or lack thereof, your honesty or lack thereof, you're creating your story and your legacy. When you're thinking about that, if you're saying you want your legacy to be one thing, but your actions are saying something different, that muddies up your story. So the point of view that others have when they're looking at your story is blurry and muddy because they're like, wait, what? You're honest, you're an honest person, but you lie all the time. What? So you want your story to be super clear. So by aligning your actions with your legacy, you're sharpening the image by taking the steps that you need to towards your goals and just setting out and working hard and pushing through to accomplish the things that you say you're going to accomplish and do the things that you say that you're going to do. You're making your photo super sharp. You're giving it a clear giving everyone who's watching your story a clear point of view of that photo. You're just sharpening it up a little. You're cleaning your lens, you're adjusting the quality of your film, the ISO and the grain and all of that stuff to give a really clear image. So think about the things that that affect your story and how can you re-emphasize your story to make it clearer. Sometimes you just have to change your point of view. But for example, like here in this shot, right now I want to be in the focus because we're having a discussion. If I had this pointed at a blank wall, you wouldn't get what I'm showing you because you came on here to chat with me and the others in the group. So by staring at a blank wall, even if you're hearing my voice in the distance, you're not getting the full effect of what I'm trying to convey to you, right? And you guys know I talk with my hands, so you guys need to see me visually to get the full effect of what's happening here. But if I'm pointing at a blank wall, you're not even going to stay interested for long because you're going to be like, this is a blank wall. What am I watching here? So sometimes you need to completely adjust your point of view. In life, what are people seeing when they're looking at you? Are you being real, or are you throwing up a blank wall so that, you know, people can't really see who and what you are? Sometimes people just want to get to know you. And I know it can be scary. It was for me, but I found that the more of, you know, the more real I was, the more of myself that I kind of shared with people, the more I realized that the people who liked me and dealt with me were the real people, and the people who wanted me to be something that I wasn't, we weren't going to be friends for long anyway. So, two fingers, deuces, bye bye. So, same thing in your life and your business. Don't be afraid to be real with your customers. I always say to my customers, I like a sale. I like to get stuff at a discount. So I don't mind, you know, letting you know when something's on sale. I'm not going to charge you more for it if I know, you know, sometimes I don't catch it, but, you know, if I know that this is on sale and it's something you like, I might just say, hey, you know, this is 2 for $20. Do you just want this one? And a lot of times my customers are like, yeah, of course I do. Throw in, you know, double the order. And, you know, it comes back to you. You get to reap the benefits of being that kind-hearted person. But sometimes you just need to adjust your the complete point of view. Sometimes you just completely need to do a 180, well, not a 360 because then you're back where you started, but 45, whatever. Sometimes you just need to do a slight change to get your view into focus. But you have to have your story clear so that you know what you want everyone to point towards, so that you know what to so that they know what to concentrate on. You know what you're focused on. You can just plow ahead. On that same note, sometimes even when we're talking about clarity and muddiness, sometimes we all know of the person who's like doing 50 million things. A lot of times you don't know what they're doing because every day you meet them, they're doing something different. Be clear about what it is that you're doing. Be clear about what your goals are. Yeah, over time your goals will change, but if your goal is changing every day, 2-3 times a day, it makes it difficult for people to follow. So set your focus. If, you know, your Avon business is your goal to, you know, be the next platinum leader, in 2 days you can't be changing your business. If your goal is to be a millionaire, whatever, then you should be striving each day to work on making your millions. You can't be, you know, living recklessly and gambling it away because people are going to be like, what's this person doing? They say they want to do this, but they're not. And this is something that I actually have to think of because there are things that I want to be, and there are things that I'm doing that don't line up with that. So I need to adjust, like completely change my focus and focus in on the things that I want to do and just get it done. So I am preaching to the choir here when I tell you guys these things. So that's number 3. Change your the composition of your video, of your image. Crop out the things that you don't need, or, you know, completely adjust your focus so that you can get to the things that will reinforce your storyline. The 4th thing is to set the scene. It's also, sometimes you guys think of it as staging. So when a person is taking photos, oh wait, you guys said something. Miss Renee says to step back and reevaluate your plan. She says she does this several times daily. Absolutely, because sometimes you set out with your goals in mind and people call, people are bombarding you with their issues, everyone wants you to put out fires, and you have to be like, look, this is what I plan to do for today. I have to get this done. All the other stuff will happen later on. Yeah, definitely, Renee. You definitely have to keep that in mind as you go through even your day, much more, you know, your entire life story. Renee, you just reminded me of something. I don't remember which book, but people always say, like, if you're flying a plane and you're going across miles, If you turn that plane 1 degree off, just slight, change, just that 1 degree off, over the course of miles, think about an angle. In the first half, it's not that you're not off that by that much. But as you get further and further out, you get further and further away from your goal. So definitely, Renee, as you go about your day, much more your life, you want to just keep rechecking so that you can stay on course. And that's what pilots and ship captains do. They're just constantly checking and realigning. So in the same way with your image, just constantly check and realign so that you stay on course with your story that you want to be leaving behind. Thanks, Miss Renee. On cue, we're like, yeah. Uh, so back to number 4, which is staging, setting up your scene. So when people are doing, whether they're filming a movie or taking a picture, a lot of times you'll see them fixing the background, or putting in props. Maybe they might put in some flowers. They might stand a person off to the side, and like on cue in a movie, that person will walk across to give an image of what's happening around you. So if, for example, the scene of the video is a hospital, you'll have guys go by with, the gurneys, and you have doctors that are standing there with their medical equipment on. You might have a sick person with an arm stump bleeding and it's squirting all over the place, but it sets the scene for the atmosphere. If you have an image where someone is sitting and you see a lake, you see some trees in the background, a beautiful sunset, then we're getting an image of peace and calm and, relaxation. But those things in the background set the scene and set the tone for the story that's being told. In the same way, your life has these props. So the doctor standing in the background, the trees or the boat on the lake in the background, whatever it is that's in the background, the lighting, all of these are props that affect your story. And in your life, you have props as well. In our business, we have our props. We have our tools for our business. And these will either align with or not align with our business. So for example, in our business, we are selling beauty, skincare, jewelry, makeup, and home goods. If you don't have any of your product in your house or on your person, we have a problem. Because people will look at you and they'll gauge your story and they'll say, well, you don't use any of your own products. Why should I? Your story, a mess. Didn't get across the idea that you wanted to put across to your people. Let's say you want your story to be a person who is serious and business-minded and professional. You roll out of bed with your stained pajamas and the hoodie, and I'm a hoodie person too, but you haven't showered in days, you haven't combed your hair, there's no makeup on, you're not using the perfume, the deodorant, you're not washing your face, you're not conveying the story that you want to put across. So you need to make sure that your props also line up with your story. I'm going to take it further, and this is where it might hurt a couple of people. And I apologize in advance, but I say this out of love. I'm not speaking to anyone in particular, but the idea came to me and I was like, I don't know if I should say that. People are going to be mad at me, but I'm going to say it anyway. Sometimes the people around you are the negative props that are holding you back. We talked about a couple of weeks ago in our in the discussion that we've been doing for these last 2 months. We were saying, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. Sometimes you're surrounded by people who don't align with the story you're trying to convey. So when another person looks at you, all the people that you hang out with, your friends, your family, your co-workers, everything around you becomes a part of your story. You've immersed yourself in that atmosphere, it becomes a part of your story. So going back to my earlier 2 examples, the doctor, if I take the doctor out and I put him in a scene in the woods with the lake in the background, then we're like, okay, this is a doctor on vacation, right? We're not looking at this guy and saying, oh yeah, he's hard at work hanging out on that boat on the lake, where the story's going to be confused and out of focus. If we take that canoe and put it in the middle of the hospital, you're going to be like, what? How did the canoe get here? That doesn't belong in this scene. It doesn't belong in this story. Was there an accident on the canoe? a paddle, been driven into a person that they couldn't, they had to take the person and the canoe into the hospital. And you're going to be trying to figure out what would cause that, because those things normally don't go together in our heads. But same way, who you surround yourself with, who you hang out with, who you talk to, they become a part of your story as well. And some of us, there are people in our lives who we have to crop out of our story. We have to just Photoshop them out because they're not helping us. There might be someone out there who is like, yes, I know, I just can't. But sometimes you have to really just say, okay, this is just not part of the story and the legacy that I want to have. I need to change my scenery, and I need to change my background. And like Renee said, sometimes it's something, that you might have to do consistently. You might constantly find yourself around people who are not a part of the proper story that you want to convey, and you might have to consciously keep pulling yourself away from that. So surround yourself with the kind of people that you want to be known to hang out with, the kind of people that add to your story, the kind of people who line up with the story that you want to have. For example, if you want to be a doctor, hang out with the doctors, not the people who are loafing around doing nothing. So, sorry. It is what it is. So, set the scene, set up your staging, your atmosphere, your background. Make sure that everything lines up. Your characters and your props need to line up with your story. In the same way in your business, go out, have your business tools, wear your Avon buttons, carry your Avon magazine in your bag, so that when someone meets with you and they ask you what you do for a living, you have the tools of your business on hand, because these are the props that add to your story. If you want to be the Avon person who never gets a customer, then yeah, don't bother to have brochures and catalogs and samples. You don't need all that because it doesn't line up with your story. Most of us want to have the successful Avon representative story, so we're going to have the props and the tools, the business cards, the brochures. We're going to know what our website is. We're going to educate ourselves on the products, because even the knowledge that you have of your products, of the business, how the business works, even though you can't really see those in your image, it becomes a part of your story, because it'll affect your speech, and it'll affect how you communicate. So if you're, again, going back to the idea of the doctor in the hospital, if we have a scene where we have two doctors talking and it's quiet, you see the two doctors, you see them in their, setting of a hospital, you see the people running around in the background on the gurney, you see them with their stethoscope on and their doctor's badge, you look at it and you see doctors. Now if you turn the sound on and the doctors are talking about, they're looking at a clipboard, but instead of talking about the patient's history, the patient's medical history, they're talking about stocks and bonds and trading, you're going to be like, wait, what? Are they not working? So, even the words that we use and the things that we're talking about affect our staging, and they set the scene for our story as well. So speak positively, speak of encouraging, be encouraging to others, speak about the positive things that are happening in your business, the growth, the success, the wins that we're celebrating weekly. Speak about how much you love your business. Speak about the things that are going well in your business, because again, those things affect your focus. If you're trying to tell people how much you love this business, but every 5 minutes you're complaining about it, it doesn't line up. Your story is getting blurry, and you're muddying up your storyline. You don't want to have a video scene where you're trying to show people how much in love they are, and you've got the flowers in the background, you've got the beautiful sunset, and I don't know, candles, rose petals in the background, and you've gone through all the trouble of setting this beautiful scene for a romantic evening, and then when you turn the sound on, you hear the couple complaining about how much they hate each other. Totally messes up your story. So make sure that your words also align with your story as well. And lastly, the fifth thing is take a lot of pictures, right? Now I know as a selfie person, that's not what I mean. Yes, document your growth and your success. But when I was thinking about with this number 5 was actually to just keep trying at whatever you're doing. Photographers, I mean, rarely will you have a photographer, especially nowadays with digital photography. Normally that photographer is heavy on the shutter button. You know, when you watch the awards and those photographers are taking pictures, it's very rarely will a celebrity walk out and you'll have the photographer kind of offhandedly. Normally they're like, smile over here. They're taking a lot of photos, right? Because out of that batch, you're going to have 3 or 4 where the person is blinking, where they're looking away, where the wind blows their hair in a crazy way. Me, like every night when I'm on video, right? Where, you know, the dress gives the person an odd shape, you know, on the runway. So they take a lot of photos because they're expecting that some of them will be messed up. For whatever reason, we get into this business, we get into life, as a matter of fact, and we think everything is going to be smooth sailing, everything is supposed to be perfect, we're not going to have any mistakes, everything is going to go well with us, with our customers, and with the company. That's not how it is. There are going to be mistakes, there are going to be, you know, bumpy areas in our lives, and if you set out with the mindset that everything has to be perfect, you're going to find yourself quitting very early on. You're going to say, you know, this is not working out, I'm not getting my story to line up, but it may just be that you don't have enough photos. You're not getting out there and just trying over and over and over again. I told you guys and I share with you that I've been experimenting with different things in my business, different ways to get out and promote my business, and there are some times where I'm scared and nervous about it, but I just keep going out. Sometimes I have more success than others, but I realize I wouldn't have found those successful times if I didn't just keep at it. So in your business, take a lot of pictures. Go out and try things a lot of different times. Do a lot of different events in a lot of different areas with a lot of different people. Talk to many different people and talk to them often. Talk to the same person more than once. Don't hound and harass and chase anyone down, but, you know, keep the conversation going. Let them know that you're still around, that you're still doing what you love, because you might speak to a person, and I can't tell you how many times this happened to me, where I speak to a person and they're like, no, I'm not interested, I just want a book. They may just be having a bad day. Maybe their scene in their life is not right for them to be receiving what you're trying to share with them. Maybe they're you know, just not at the point in their movie where they get to the area where they're like, okay, yeah, it's the time for me to do this. But you have to keep your finger heavy on that shutter button. Keep coming back and talking to them and communicating with them. Keep getting them a brochure. Keep calling and sending emails and texts. You know, speak to them. How are they doing? What's going on in their life? Stay in contact. And, you know, just take a lot of photos. With our prospecting, sometimes we go out, especially those of us who are new and just getting started. We go out, we do one event, it doesn't really pan out, and we're like, this doesn't work, I'm done. But that was just one event. You took one picture, the wind blew up the person's skirt, it was a horrible shot, and it wasn't successful, and you quit. Go out and take another picture. Go out and do another event, and this time around, it might be different. Maybe, like the photographer, you have to take, you know, 50 different photos. Think about it. Like when photographers do photo shoots, they have the person stand there and do the same thing over and over again. Earlier today, I posted a TED Talk. There was a model who was talking about the disparity between image and the modeling industry and reality. And she was like, you know, she's taking a picture of the person is the photographer or the client is saying, you know, we want a picture of you walking. She doesn't just go out and walk once. She keeps doing it. You know, she does her little walk, and, you know, one of those pictures is going to be the perfect one that ends up on the photo shoot in the magazine or the ad. But she does a lot of these, you know, moving poses, and she does it the same thing over and over again until she gets it right. Each time she improves, but, you know, she keeps doing it. We also need to do the same thing in our business. Whether it's a prospecting event, you can't just do one event once a month. You can't just do one event when your district manager is having an event. You can't just do the one event when your upline is organizing something. You need to organize your own. You need to get out there. You need to be talking to people. You need to be practicing the power of 3 daily, not once a year. Otherwise, you're not going to get that beautiful money shot. You'll never find it because you haven't done it enough. So it's like with success. You'll never find success if you do it once and then quit. Yes, some people do it and they get that one shot, like with Marilyn Monroe, that one image where her skirt blew up and it was like the $500,000 image. Or another big image that rests in our mind is that couple kissing after World War II, where they have that reunion at Times Square. That is one image that's a money shot. But I bet you that in both of those instances, those photographers, this was not their first time taking pictures. They didn't just wake up one day, roll out of bed, and say, okay, I'm going to go out with my camera and take this one shot, and it just happened to be the most amazing photo. Those people are out there taking photos, and I bet all of those photographers have an arsenal of photos that they've taken that didn't turn into anything before they found that one good shot. So we have to be the same way with our prospecting and with our goal setting. Sometimes you might set a goal and miss it. Maybe there's an Avon incentive like Vacation Like a Boss, or Ticket to Boss Life, or win a free trip to Avon Rep Fest. Maybe you miss it. If you say to yourself, okay, I missed it, this didn't work, I'm not doing this again, you've just taken yourself out of the running. And I say this all the time, but you have to keep taking that photo. Keep going for your goals. Keep setting your goals daily, like Miss Renee said, and keep going after them. And one of these days, you're going to get that money shot, or you're going to have so many beautiful pictures, you'll be able to put together a beautiful composition, and that will be your success. So in your business, you'll find enough customers to be successful and have a big enough customer base and a big enough team to live off of. So that's number 5, take a lot of pictures. So those are my 5 tips for how we can set up our point of view and our composition so that we're ready with our cameras to point and shoot and find success in our businesses. So I hope this helps you guys. Let me see, we've got some conversations going on in here. Hey, Miss Anitra, welcome. Miss Kathleen says, having a clear and positive image of a person has a lot to do in their actions. She's very selective of the people that she allows into her inner circle. Yeah, you have to be. You have to guard your photo scene, because we spend a lot of time setting up the scene. And a lot of times people look at our lives and they don't realize, and I do this and I catch myself doing it, I look at a person, a model, an actor, another leader in this business. I say, oh wow, they have it good, things are easy for them, but I don't see the time and effort they took and they put into setting up their scene so that they can have their life look as good as it does. But it takes time to set up those props. Every photo shoot, look at the photos in the magazines. They are composed and organized very well. Even as an architect, when we're building buildings, we try to arrange the windows and the furniture for all kinds of different things. So there's so much thought that goes into things in the background before it actually happens. You might arrive into a building and say, wow, the lighting in here is really nice. I feel good in here. The ceilings are high. The colors are vibrant. I'm getting some good light. I have a nice view of the East River. It's because an architect sat down. Yes, shout out to the architects. It's because an architect sat down and said, oh, I'm going to arrange this. Or an interior decorator or designer said, I'm going to get this composition right so that the people feel good in the space. But that's that thought that goes into it in the background. So don't feel like you can jump up one day and feel like everything is perfect. Your life and your business is composed perfectly. It takes a lot of time and work in the background to get to the point where it's like that. And I'm in the point, I'm not at the point in my business where things are lined up the way that I want them to be, but I'm just gonna hold my finger to that shutter button and take a lot of photos so that one of them will be good and pan out into something that works. So so that's our chat for tonight. Let me know what you guys think. I see comments. Okay. Hey, Miss Jessica made it. I see lots of cameras in the chat box. Miss Renee's got her cameras, her video recorders, everything. Milagro says picture time. Yeah, that's a great tip from Milagro. She says share your daily story on social media. Yeah, that's cute, Milagro. So I like that. Snap a pic. Hashtag point and shoot, right? Boss life point and shoot. Jessica says she wants to share her win for the week. She has been giving out starter kits left and right. When she woke up on Easter, she had 3 new recruits. And it hasn't posted yet, but she knows she made it to bronze ambassador. Congratulations, Miss Jessica M. So congratulations. She says she's so excited. She's doing the happy dance. See, Miss Jessica said she's been giving out her starter kits left and right. She's been setting the scene. Her starter kits were her props. She's been putting them out there, and now she's, you know, starting to see the image that she wants to see. And she's a great leader. So now that bronze ambassador title is going to look good in her video composition, right? Congratulations, Jess. All right, let's see. Oh, I'm over time. So thank you guys all for joining me for this week's weekly chat. And I hope you guys keep this in mind as you go about your week. And I hope you took good notes that later on down the line where you need to come back and reshift your focus and realign your camera so that you get the point of view and the story that you're trying to convey to others. You have the notes and you can, you know, do that properly and your stories will align. And I hope that they're going to be really successful, beautiful images. I know, because you guys are beautiful people who are going to be at the center. So I hope you guys have a great week, and I'm looking forward to hearing more success stories next week. Same time, same place, 8 p.m. here on my page. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. Bye!